don't even really have anything good for us to talk about, even just leading up to before the intro.
It's been work.
You just been work all week.
That's it.
Yeah, we got to hear about New Orleans too.
Nothing really.
Yeah, I've never been, so whatever. Anyway, yeah, I never go anywhere. It's just I'm a homebody. The only reason I've gone on major I can't say long, but like week-long vacations anywhere is because of her.
Really?
Yeah.
You just wouldn't otherwise?
I would rather spend my money on watching a movie or playing a video game or whatever. Yeah. So that's just me. But now I got to get used to going places because, like, even before we got married, she had timeshare and all that stuff.
Really?
So, like, yeah. So, like, when we went to Wisconsin Dells before Marcus was born. Like, she was pregnant with him when we went, and it was timeshare stuff.
Sweet.
So it was like a condo type of deal. And then, of course, she hadn't been to any of their meetings in forever or getting updated on stuff. So, like, we had to go sit through some meeting. Well, they updated us on all their stuff. And they're like, oh, you guys were supposed to have been offered some certain deal years ago and somehow fell through the cracks. So we're going back and prorating or retroactively given this deal or whatever. So, like, basically we would have to pay to get more timeshare stuff. But it was one of those, like, it's totally stupid if you don't do it. Like, it's such a good deal. Plus, they gave us, like, I can't remember how, it was almost like another 3 or 4 weeks a year or something. Plus, we got
so you just
an
have
extra.
It unused
we
now?
just, yeah, plus we have, like, another, I want to say, like, 9 weeks on top of everything else for us. Like, we could just give it away to family.
Party.
Yeah, so it was like, eventually we may go to Disney World and, like, tell my sister and her family to come, take my mom and dad, and say, hey, we got everybody's lodging covered if you cover your own other expenses or whatever.
Like, you saved it up for so long, you just blow it.
Yeah, but it's like, my sister-in-law's used it 2 or 3 times.
More
I
than
think
you.
my mom and dad's used our stuff because, like, I'm such a homebody and I don't go anywhere.
Oh, shoot.
So, yeah, eventually she's wanting to go somewhere this year. We may end up going back up to Wisconsin again. I don't know. Or we may end up in Pennsylvania even. She sent out for, like, a buttload of travel guides this year. Oh, so, like, for, like, 2 or 3 weeks there, like, every day or every other day, there was some pamphlet about Kentucky or Nashville or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Michigan or
but it's
whatever.
fun.
So
you should do it.
I know. I'll have to go. It's just the time when everybody takes vacation, which is usually this time of year, is my busy time of year at work. So it's like really hard for me. I can't usually take vacation and not feel really guilty about it and really be dropping a load on everybody else until, like,
I heard that you
May.
should just drop that guilt though, because why else would your company offer you vacation and you actually, like, work better if you get to get away from it.
But it's gonna be so much worse when I get back.
Yeah,
if I don't.
I
That's the problem. Is it piles up? Like, if there was a lot more of us, it'd be a different story. But there's so few of us now.
There's nobody that could really, really pick up what I do.
Yeah.
So it would just be like, hey, I'm missing an entire newsletter. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I want to hear at some point. At some point, I want to hear. We don't necessarily have to do on this. I just want to, like, hear more about what it is that you do. Just like, you make it sound boring. Like, you make it sound like it's boring, but at the same time, I think it's like, it's gonna be kind of neat. But I don't know.
Yeah, this is about how they run the electricity grid and how they get electricity to you, and utilities will join up in these
weird
operating like nonprofits, and that's what I cover. I cover one of those operating nonprofits.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna say let's get this show on the road.
Let's do it.
Well, hey everybody, this is Amanda over here.
This is Chad right here.
So we're back for our second episode of Chad and Amanda Talk Shit About. It's just going to be a show. If you're just now joining us for the first time, this is a show that we're starting just to give ourselves an outlet from talking about serious stuff. We'll pick some other oddball news stories, and then just let it see where it goes. We'll probably go off on a lot of tangents, talking about stories from our childhood that might relate to anything, or just any funny story in general that we can think of, crack some jokes, whatever. We just finished recording another show.
Yeah, I went off.
She went off a little
over
bit.
on the secular perspective.
Yeah. Are you doing all right heat wise? I know last time you were here it was pretty stuffy. It almost feels a little stuffy. I got the air conditioner going. I don't feel anything. You can turn the fan on if you need to.
Oh, I need to.
You might turn it down low. It's getting a little warm in here. So the one all the way to my right, and then the one right next to it, hit it one time. There you go. And then you can, if you want that straight like that, that's fine. Or you can oscillate it. Just some airflow up in this bitch. So the first story that we have here, I'm just going to jump right into it. You know what? No, I'll BS some other stuff because there's a lot of stories that I didn't tell, like on previous shows where we'd get together. We'd usually BS a little bit before we really start the show. I love that cold intro before the music. So I always have us BS a little bit before we start the show to give me something to make for that. But there was a lot of stories that I didn't tell. I think I might have mentioned to you in our pod chat, but I never really told on anything being recorded. So do you remember the story about when my kids broke the mirror?
Yeah.
Did I show you I can't remember if I showed you the picture.
You showed me a picture, but you never told me what led to that.
Okay. So there was it's kind of a dressing mirror. Normally it would be made to be hung on the back of a door or on a wall. It was just probably 3 foot tall, 1.5 foot wide type of thing. It was framed. It had been up in my walk-in closet for a long time, just kind of tucked around the door or whatever. Well, I remember a few months ago, my sister-in-law was over. She needed it for something downstairs. So I just I think she was trying to do something with her hair, and she was looking in one mirror and needed another mirror kind of propped up behind her to do
as a lady,
something.
you always need that. But you need to get her a handheld one.
Yeah.
She can
which we don't have. There's no handheld mirrors in this house at all. I don't know why. I was trying to check something out on the top of my head the other day because
that's when I would break a window and paint silver.
And I just took the phone and snap and then looked.
How can you run a household without? Oh my God!
Just don't. Whatever. Anyway, so it had been taken downstairs and put behind the door. It's just a little half bath downstairs. Well, my kids, I got 2 kids. One's 3, one's 5. And we had just come home from daycare. It was just me and the kids. Wife was working. And my daughter had to go potty. So she goes in there on her own or whatever. My little boy's still playing in the living room. He gets up, heads that way too. I didn't really think much of it. He's all time running in there, and when she's in there too. Whatever. But as a parent, and parents would know this, that silence is not necessarily a good thing. And after a little bit, you realize something's up. Okay? So I'm sitting in the living room. I don't have the TV on. I think I might have just turned on Netflix to start finding something for the kids to watch, and I'm thumbing through, but nothing's actually playing. So it's quiet in the house. I'm in the living room. It's the half bath is just around the corner, really. And they were gone for a little bit. And I was like, hey, kids. I was like, are you done in there? And she's like, yeah. I was like, well, come on in here. No, we're playing. And I figured he took some toys in there. They're playing on the floor. I was like, all right. Me being lazy, I'm just whatever. They'll get bored.
That fly.
Just whatever. So then I'm like, okay, kids, come on. It's time to go. We're gonna watch a movie. All right, and I turned it on. Well, they come running. Shut the door behind them for whatever reason. I think I remember even hearing the door shut. I was like, yeah, whatever. So I sit there. I watch a little bit of the movie with them, and then I realized this is stupid. I don't remember what we were watching. Some kids stuff on Netflix. I'm like, this is boring. I'm going to go back upstairs to my office where we're in here. And I walk past and I see the door shut. I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and open this. Well, the bathroom door downstairs was shut. So I go to open it up, and it only opens about halfway and hits something. I'm like, what in the world? And I kind of peek in there, and I can see that the mirror is leaning up against the sink, the front edge of the sink. And I was like, good grief. So I had to kind of reach in and lift it up. And I hear, actually, the thing that threw me first is it bowed. It really bowed. And I was like, oh, something's not right here. So I go and I lift it up, and I realize, wow, this is really light. And then I look over on the toilet seat. The lid is down on the toilet, and there are tons of these huge shards of glass
On the toilet seat?
neatly placed and stacked up on the toilet seat.
Nobody cut themselves?
Nobody cut themselves. I flipped. I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if I should be impressed or scared. Because, I mean, impressed because nobody cut themselves. Scared because if they were able to pull that off, and we're talking like 45 minutes later, I realized that this has happened. That they broke this mirror, made no loud shattering sound. Nobody hollered.
And then it's just stacked
And
on
it
the
just
toilet?
and then they picked it all up off the floor and neatly put it on the toilet to get it out of the way. Now there was a couple little dinky tiny pieces. I went and ran the vacuum just in case, and I heard a couple little tiny pieces hit. Most of the mirror
How
stayed
did they
together.
pick all that up?
I asked her, I was like, Alice, how did you guys get this all picked up without cutting yourselves? And she goes, like this. And just very daintily did that. Like she was just being very gentle, picking the glass up. I was like, oh my God. But
Did they offer an explanation as to how it broke?
he did it. She did it. So I told the story to people at daycare, and they said they were kind of investigating a little bit. And finally, I think they were playing around, and there were still conflicting stories, but one kid pushed the other kid into the mirror, and it broke, ultimately, is how it happened. I still don't know who pushed who.
My
Yeah.
my brother pushed my sister through a window.
Oh, jeez.
They shared a room for the longest time when they were kids, and
See, me and my sister did too when we were real little.
it was one of the times I was real impressed with my mom because he didn't shove her through the window. We had like weird windows where it was like you had your window with the panes, then you had a little like window you could open that was a thin glass, just one pane of glass that you could open up to. Then you had the screen.
Okay.
So there was a bunch of like shit going on with our window. They were super
Weird.
old, so
Okay.
there were all these layers you had to our windows. So the regular window was open. It just had that thin pane there that you could open up.
Okay.
So they were fighting in their room. They loved to fight in their room. He
I know
shoves
those
her.
days.
She goes flying into that thing. Somehow her pinky ends up this way.
Oh!
Yeah, and like I have to give it to my mom because Sarah comes out screaming, and my mom just looks at her calmly. She picks up. She's like, hang on, and she's like, put her pinky right, like just like the weird things you probably have to do as a mom. I don't think
I would probably
she got taken to the hospital.
I don't know. I patched myself up a lot on my own as a kid, but I probably would flip out. Like, knock on wood.
Yeah,
I have
no
yet to this day to break anything. I've cut myself open on several things. I probably should have gotten some tetanus shots at some point in time. Never did. I've stepped on a nail a couple times.
Isn't that weird how
cut my
you
knee
won't go
open.
to the doctor? Like you'll get.
I've bandaged myself up
Yeah.
on stuff.
And you're like, that's fine.
But luckily never actually broke anything.
We just never
so.
we never really went to the hospital as kids. I remember
Rub some dirt on it and
right.
move
Well,
on.
there was one time I was climbing up the stairs and I had my little toys and I bit through my tongue.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and then that was like, oh, she got to go through the hospital. But a pinky bending that way, that's no big deal.
You're right. Just tape it to the other finger; it'll be all right.
We were like, Sarah, what finger is it? You know, to this day, I think she knows. She's like, it's this one.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, I would hope she would remember. Something like that would stick with you. I would think.
It's just another thing. My brother was always hurting himself, always on stuff.
I remember we got a lot of bruises when we were kids, and it was mostly just one did it to the other. Me and my sister would roughhouse a lot. I remember. I would do stuff to pick on her. I don't know what got me started doing it, but I remember the one thing that would really get her that bugged her is I wouldn't necessarily just pull on her hair because she had long hair. Mm-hmm. But I remember I would always do it out in public. I think it was because she would always be distracted by something else. And I would go up behind her and I would get like just 3 or 4 strands of hair, just a real little bit. And I would keep slacking it. I would clamp it in my teeth.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why I did this. Just being mean. And I would sit and I would wait until she would move on. And, of course, she'd go to walk and then she'd jerk her head back real hard. There was a couple times, actually, she moved.
You're a weird kid.
And there was a couple times I pulled the hair out of her head.
Yeah.
Because it was just more or less, it was just that more being mean and just a new creative way to pull my sister's hair just to hurt her.
Yeah, well, it doesn't hurt her, but it's...
Yeah, that's that little quick, ow, type of thing. But, yeah, I don't know why I did that. that was a weird thing to do. So, yeah, that's only a real childhood story as far as... I can't even say that I had a lot of major getting hurt stories.
Oh. My brother he's a trove of those.
Yeah.
He would just, like, one time he came home just sweating and not wanting to talk to anybody. And he had, like, ridden his bike home. And I guess, this was high school, and I guess his friend had gotten his truck out, and they thought it would be a good idea to, like, hang on to the truck with their bikes alongside. You know, they had those little BMX bikes.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a good recipe anyhow.
Right.
But the kid on the one side... And his friend, I mean, oh my God, he got up to like at least 35 miles an hour.
Oh, jeez.
Which you shouldn't, like, what? And they let go because they're like, wow, this is going too fast.
Yeah.
The kid, there was an engine block on the side of the road that somebody had just put out to the road.
Oh,
this would
I'll
happen.
just leave this here.
This would happen in my town, yeah.
Okay.
They just put out, like, boom,
just junk
here's an
here.
engine block.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid, he hit it, and I think he broke his leg, which is
Jeez.
all he did, which is insane.
Yeah.
And he had to be rushed to the ER, and I guess the police were looking for Nick for a statement or something like that.
Oh my
He's just at
God.
home sweating, like sulking around in the garage, like, whoo.
Jeez. I remember, just speaking of bikes, it took me to this one. I remember I grew up kind of in the country, like from 6th grade on the way up through graduation and stuff. But my driveway, we had kind of a long driveway, but if the road was up here and the house was back here, the driveway would kind of do a dip down and go kind of across a little bridge and then go back up. And my mom didn't want me riding my bike out on the country roads because we had just got moved out there and we didn't really know the roads yet. And we lived right on, like once you got to the road, there was a hill right there and people were all the time popping up over this hill flying. So she's like, you're not riding your bike out there. I'm afraid you're going to get hit and all that. So I had to ride my bike on the gravel road back and forth. Well, I remember one time I was going to go do it. For whatever reason, I don't know why we were limited to that, but at the same time, for some reason, she told me, if you get hurt riding your bike on the gravel, don't come crying to me for whatever reason, because I told you not to. I don't know what it was. I was like, whatever. So I remember one point, and I think my grandma was over too, so my mom was distracted talking to my grandma. But I remember making a trip from the road back up towards the house, and I hit a rock, and my bike stopped, and I didn't. And I went over the handlebars and somehow landed on my knee or something and scraped my leg all up or my arm or something. I was bleeding. And I was like, well, crap, I can't go crying to mom about this. So it's like, this is the whole shoot your eye out thing. It's like, I can't go back like this.
You took her at face value too.
Yeah. So it's like, so I kind of snuck in the back door and went to my bathroom and just kind of patched myself up and played it off. And that was it. That's the end of the story. There's not really much more to that, but it was just one of those little things.
Yeah, bikes, we always had some kind of scab from falling off our bikes or something.
Yeah. It's like Alice has her bike. Gwen just got one for my son Marcus the other day, like at a consignment sale.
Marcus?
It's put up. It's hidden in the garage because it needs to have training wheels put on it. Like it's a bigger. It's not like a big bike, but it's more like he would need to be like closer to 5 or 6 to really ride the bike as it is now.
Insane. Like he's gonna come to you with some wild stuff probably.
He already does. Right now he calls everybody baby. He'll call me baby, like, hey baby. Like I'm surprised he didn't do. God, I ought to get him to do it for you later. But like if we play some music, like he'll play music at daycare and he'll go up to one of the teachers and just say, hey baby, let's dance.
Wow.
Yeah, just like that. Oh. I was like, yes. It's great. The other day, my wife was picking him up, and he runs over, like one of the girls comes out, and she's like, bye, Marcus. Like just because they were leaving, he had his coat on, ready to go. He goes running over to her. Miss Michaela. I'm leaving. And that was it. Just like dramatic pause, like he's got something so important to say. I'm leaving. But yeah, he's got all kinds of goofy stuff. It's going to get worse. Like he's all about the girls at school. Like
really?
he is a flirt. And I was not. I don't remember being a flirt when I was
wasn't.
a kid.
Oh my God, no. Wow.
So I broke out of my shell and got more talkative to people and
oh God,
more open and stuff like that at a certain point, which is where I'm at now. But he definitely picked up on that trait from me already.
Okay.
And it's going to be weird to see where it goes. Because I think when I was real little, I think I was a little more open. I was a real chatterbox when I was little, and then I just kind of shut down for a while.
Something happens
and then,
when you
then perked back up.
When you hit school. It's like,
yeah,
it was a shock to me, I remember, because I remember I was always screaming around. Not screaming, but like I was always like yelling and having a good time. And then my kindergarten teacher says to my mom, like, oh, she's so quiet. And my mom's like, what? You're screaming around here. Why is that? And I was like, kindergarten was a fucking shock. Like I couldn't explain it because I didn't have words for it back then. But I was like, I was shocked into it. Like all these kids, you know, it was weird.
Yeah. So yeah. So tell you what, we're gonna talking about kids, kind of.
Wow.
In a weird way, I'm gonna segue into what I had set up as our first story for the show this evening.
Let's do it.
This is a story. Now, this is an old story, actually. I'm not sure. I think I probably stumbled across this on Reddit. But this is actually from last August. Okay, this particular article is from the Epoch Times. Am I pronouncing that right? Do you know? I'm assuming
I
Epoch.
would always say
EPOCH. I pronounce it Epoch, but...
Well, I say
in Kentucky, a man found a baby in a dumpster. Now, reading the article, there was a video that goes with it, and then reading the article, the man that found the baby said, I think he was going out to his car to go to work in the morning, possibly, or he might have even been going to dump his own trash or something. But all he heard, I remember, and I read this story like a couple weeks ago, so it's not super fresh in my head, but I swear it said he heard the sound of like the lid slamming back down.
okay.
And then he happened to see like a teenage kid kind of running away or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, okay, this looks really suspicious. Like you hear the slam, he's throwing something away and he's running from it. Like, what the hell? So he goes over to the dumpster and lifts the lid, and lo and behold, there's a little dumpster baby.
The dumpster baby.
Dumpster baby. DB. Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh.
That baby was huge though. That baby was absolutely huge. If nobody's ever seen the Dumpster Baby episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they need to go watch it.
Can you look up if they have that rule in Kentucky where you can leave it at a fire station?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I think that's like a common thing.
Is that like nationwide? I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mention it here.
Oh yes, it does.
Oh, did it?
Kentucky Safe Infant Act from 2002.
Yeah, here you go. The kid could have taken advantage of the Kentucky
Police
Safe
station, fire station, doctor,
Yeah,
emergency
there you go.
room.
Yeah, any place probably that just had the safe sign or safe place sign up, they probably could have took.
Really? Because they have one at our library that's only a couple blocks from my house. And
Yeah.
I'm like, safe space. What does that mean? And it's got like
maybe safe. I don't know. There might be different. Safe place. Well, usually a safe place, because the video store I worked at when I was a kid, we put a safe place sign up. But
was that like you're running from danger? What
kind of, yeah. It was like a stranger danger type of thing. But the problem was, my video store was like, there wasn't a lot to do in that town. Like kids would literally come and hang out at the video store for a little bit for something to do, buy some candy or a Coke, and then leave. So it's like, and I used to have to kick kids out for just spending so much time there.
It's like, oh, you're done.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you need to go. And so it would almost be counterproductive for us to have, like, thinking about it in hindsight, like, it's a good thing those kids never really did need help, because I would have been like, get out of here. Like, I just kicked you out like half an hour ago.
Somebody's following you.
Right.
Bullshit.
Exactly. Keep on trucking. So that's the only downside to that, in a place where a lot of people would come, you have no clue if they're just there to loiter or if they would genuinely need help. Now, I think in most cases, if they genuinely need help, they'd be like, "Hey, can you keep me away from whoever?"
Yeah.
But most of the time, I was just like, "Okay, I just kicked you out of here for trying to get back in the adult room."
Have you ever done
10
that in
minutes
public
ago.
where somebody's like crying openly in public and you walk out like, hey, can I do something for you right now? Like,
I don't know if I've ever been put in that situation.
I have, because if you're a lady, you'll go into the ladies' restrooms and you will see a lady like not even
breaking down,
like
and
not even
crying.
aside from like high school. Like you could go into the JCPenney bathroom and
Yeah.
if you like,
And
you'll see it one day and you're like, oh shit, like
I've never. Yeah, I mean, guys don't really do that.
I did it one time because it was my birthday.
Yeah.
And my grandpa was dying. So he was a diabetic.
No, hang on. When you did that, by you saying that, were you the person breaking down?
Yes, I was.
Okay, because I didn't know if you meant you were the person breaking down or you the person trying to console
No, when
the
you
other
ask
one.
somebody, like, it's usually a no that they say. Like, they're just, I don't know what's going on with them. But it happened to me one time where, like, it's my birthday. Grandpa's old. He's dying. He's a diabetic, so they're going to withhold insulin to just
Let him
hasten the process, and
Yeah.
he's going. So, I was in a Bennigan's. Are there any Bennigan's left in the world?
probably somewhere.
And like I got the news that like my grandma was upset. She wanted to know if it was okay if she did this on my birthday and everything. And it must have been the most retarded thing. And I was like, no, he can't suffer. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then I hung up the phone and then I broke down. And my ex was with me at the time, and I'm crying. And she's like, "Can I do something for?" She talks to my boyfriend because, like, she doesn't want to like talk. He's like, "Her grandpa's dying, and it's her birthday."
Happy freaking
And
birthday!
I was like, "Oh my god!"
Jeez.
Like, I just saw like a nut at that point, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what he's like. He just delivered it like to
just
the
very
point.
matter of factly. Yeah,
It's her birthday. Her grandpa's dying, right? And he did. He died on my birthday. Like he went that
Wow.
day. So
yeah.
it just hit me in public.
But yeah, so he actually basically went in charge. Okay, so
dumpster.
So
we're
back to dumpster baby. Because I do want to get to this. So the teenager left the baby inside.
15-year-old girlfriend.
So he had a 15-year-old girlfriend that
Is
had
that
the
is
baby.
that the statutory then? The statutory rape if
Probably.
he's 17 and she's 15?
Yeah. So
I don't
he
know.
got charged with attempted murder, first-degree criminal abuse, tampering with physical evidence.
Wait,
It actually doesn't
tampering
mention-
with physical evidence?
I don't know what that is. I guess
What does
just
that mean?
hiding the baby.
Hiding
I don't know. Yeah, it would almost have to be. Tampering is just moving it and trying to cover it up.
Yeah, attempted murder makes sense. First degree criminal abuse I can connect. Tampering with physical evidence just sounds awkward.
That does sound awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't actually mention anything about statutory there. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know Kentucky's age of consent.
Nobody knows Kentucky's age of consent.
I know. I don't know why I know that Indiana's is 16.
Do you know that?
I know that. Yes.
Oh,
Indiana's
see, we
is
used
16.
to make jokes in high school, but I don't think I ever like
they're
figured
you'd be
out.
surprised. Like most of them are kind of young.
16?
Like most of them are 16. I think there might be a couple places that are 15. Some of them are more 18.
18. Some
I
are
think
18?
some of them are 18. I think, but
Oh God!
but
Half of the high
I saw
schools
there's
doing
a
it.
map. If you
if
do
they're
a search,
18.
there's a map out there for it.
What?
But, yeah. I remember before, I saw there was a map. There's somebody had made a map and said like, no.
You're like, better be safe.
Better be safe.
On there one night.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying.
That's funny.
Yeah. Honestly, I was sure she
the
said
baby's
she was
okay.
18.
This is okay. There's a video and it's kind of awkward. The trooper that comes to administer aid, he gets real into it. He's like, "Oh, even the medical people had to crawl inside the dumpster," like, and he's like, "There's no training for this." Yeah, like
that was great. Yeah, there's a video to go with it.
No
We
training
we
for it.
watched the video right before we started recording. So, but yeah, so that's really I think all I could talk about dumpster babies. I can't say I've ever found a dumpster baby. I hope
I
to
thought
never
it was
find
more
a
of a
dumpster baby.
myth. You know,
The myth of the dumpster baby.
I thought, oh, it doesn't really happen. There's just
It totally happens.
but there's all those like
urban legends
Yeah.
come from something stemmed slightly that really happened usually. So
Yeah, I watch.
this is
There's
that
some,
one.
and they're terrible. They're terribly done. They're on Netflix, and it's be like, what grain of truth is there in an urban legend? And
Yeah,
you know,
I think I watched it. It was like a documentary
they
or something.
take you to that loony house and there was actually people like wandering from the asylum because they just shut it down,
yeah.
and people still like lived there. And I
Ooh.
was like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever watched. They just continued to live there. The
I can't
patients.
remember what the thing was that I watched. I watched some documentary that talked about a few different urban legends because there was one about
love watching
the
those.
Halloween candy, like the
the
poison
razor
and-
blades.
yeah,
and- yeah.
because like I don't think that necessarily happened, but there was a case that it turned out a little boy did die from poison in Halloween candy, and then it all ends up coming back to basically it was his dad that had poisoned him with.
So it wasn't just a stranger trying.
It wasn't straight nose. Like it all ended up coming back to the dad had done it
Damn.
for some reason. I don't know why, but he used the Halloween candy as a way, as like a deterrent to say, "Oh, it's not me. It's got to be somebody else."
And
around
here's this
here.
whole bag of candy from 85 houses. Narrow
Yeah,
it down. You know,
exactly.
He thought he was doing the perfect crime.
Yeah.
there.
Oh, it took him a little bit
Oh,
to
yeah?
figure it out. I don't remember how long it took for they figured it out, but I'm all tongue tied. Jeez. I'm gonna get a drink. You talk.
I don't know what to talk about. We'll move on to the next one.
Move on to the next one. All
We've
right.
exhausted the.
We've exhausted dumpster babies. So this is the last story I really have saved.
This is your area.
And
of
this is my
expertise.
area. So as a kid, my first inside real job was working at a video store. Now I detasseled corn before that.
Wait, what?
Detasseled corn. Have you ever
Like,
heard of that?
Really? You just like actual corn?
Corn. Do I need to give you a quick history on
Like-
what detasseling corn is?
No. I know it's like the silk that's on the
It's
end.
like the little cap on the top. Yeah. So, okay. So before we get into this, we're going to go through.
Wait. You got a job detasseling ears of corn. Where? Where
Out
do you
of-
get a job like that?
Out of high school, they would come to the high schools or junior high. Well, I was in junior high.
Is that on,
I
like,
think
a
when I
factory
started.
line?
No. A factory? No, out in the cornfield. Well,
No, I grew corn in my garden. So I know.
like a little backyard garden.
yeah, only like 2 rows.
Oh no, we're talking like
No, I'm not in a cornfield.
like pioneer, like major, huge cornfields. They get all the like junior high and high school kids and stuff looking for a job. It's a minimum
summer?
wage job in the summer. They load a bunch of kids up on the bus early in the morning. You bring your lunch with you. Like you had to get a work permit.
You were
and
a
everything.
migrant worker.
I didn't migrate.
You did the work of a migrant worker.
Okay, I did the work of a migrant. Now,
Let me clarify.
okay, so they would get, depending on the situation, if they had the tractors there for this or not, because what they would do sometimes, there was different situations. So sometimes they had machines that would run out ahead of the kids. There was a detasseling machine, and it had these arms that would come out either side of the tractor, and it had wheels that would spin, like little rubber tire wheels or just real small little things. And they were powered, so they were constantly spinning upward. Okay? So then the tractor would drive down the rows of corn. Okay? So you have, in a cornfield, when they do this seed corn, I'm assuming this is still how it is because I can look out when I drive past cornfield and still kind of notice it. You would have what was called male rows and female rows of corn. Okay? And it's exactly like the male row was a little bit bigger, like it had a thicker stalk to it, and they grew just a little bit taller. And then you would have 4 female rows, and then you have another male row, and then 4 female rows,
This
and
is
that was the pattern.
awesome that you know this.
That was the pattern. Okay.
Yeah.
So we didn't detassel the male rows; you only detasseled the female rows because you popped off the top to create a hole, and I think it helped. I don't know if it was to help pollinate or what. I don't really. I'm assuming that's what it was for because you were only detasseling the female. And it's keep in mind I was like 13 to 15 when I was doing this, so this was a long time ago.
What did they pay you to do
Oh, it was
this?
minimum wage.
Okay, minimum wage.
Total minimum wage job. But they would send the tractor out ahead of time, running down these cornfields, and each row had these little wheel things that would hopefully line up to the top of where the tassels were, and it would grab them and shoot them out the top. But it wasn't 100% perfect.
Oh.
So that's where, excuse me, where the kids come in, and they get you on this track. You basically had a big tractor, and it had an arm that went out either side, and you had, it was either 2 or 3 buckets that would go out either side. Probably, it was probably 2. Probably 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then there was 2 in the front of the tractor. Okay? And somebody would get on the tractor and just drive really slow. You're going probably like 2 or 3 miles an hour. You had 2 kids per bucket, and the bucket would run down the middle in between 2 rows. So out of a set of 4, you had 2 buckets. Okay? And it would run down the middle, and just one kid faces this way, the other kid faces this way. And you see a tassel, you pull it off, you got your gloves on, and you just sit there.
Sounds terrible.
Oh, it was nuts. Like, your arms are sore by the end of the day, but damn it, I'm getting $4.25 an hour doing it. Because that's what minimum wage was back then, was $4.25.
God.
So,
slave labor.
So, yeah, and you wanted to wear leather gloves because if that shit's wet and your hand's slipping, you're getting paper cuts out the rear. So, you do that. But then someday, I remember there were some days like it had rained really hard the day before. So it was muddy. They couldn't get the tractor out there. So you had to walk it. And you're walking. And I'm talking
Just
like,
get stuck in
and I remember, and I have a memory of one particular field that I actually drive past on a semi-regular basis. Like when I take my daughter home to her house. My dad's sending me a text message. I'll answer him later. But I remember like one certain field that like it started raining on, and it's a long field. It's like a good half-mile long field one way. And I remember being out there, and it rained, and we had to like finish up the row and then walk all the way back in like a heavy rain. And you're out there in the sun, so you get a little bit of sunscreen on, you got a hat on, but then you usually have on like long flannel shirts, trying to protect yourself from getting all the paper cuts from the leaves.
You look like a little scarecrow.
You do look like a little scarecrow.
That's so cute.
But I mean, I tell you what, though, as hard a work as that was, it was so damn fun. Like, we had so much fun out there because you basically just a bunch of kids your own age out there, only semi-supervised.
Right, because
you had
one
like
guy on the tractor.
The one person on the tractor, like you had to be like 16 to drive the tractor.
Oh,
you had
so
to have
it was
a drive.
student.
So you had to drive. You had to have a driver's license.
They let the kids just on the tractor.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you don't have a heavy machinery.
Yeah,
operator's license.
it's a tractor. It's just like there was no gas pedals, just like a lever for the throttle, and you would just speed it up or slow it down a little bit.
Oh my god!
And you'd have to, you got the slow kid. Every bucket always, or every tractor always had the slow kid, so you had to slow down so one kid couldn't keep up. And if you were really luckily, this never happened to me. I saw a lot of people get what they called it being mail road, and it would kind of piss off the people that actually owned the farm because you basically destroyed part of the corn stalks. But if you pissed a lot of people off, and it only really worked on the guys, they would basically it would take at least 2 people to do it. You would grab their arms and legs, and you would spread their legs out, and you would run them down the mail row so they would constantly be getting decked in the dick by the stalks of corn by several because they did something stupid or was being an asshole. Oh, it was only guys that ever did the mail rowing. There was girls that worked with us too.
Oh, okay, but girls would do the tasseling.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. They usually were smart enough to try to segregate the boys and the girls.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Because nothing would get done. You'd just be flirting and carrying on and doing all sorts of hanky panky in the cornfields.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot could go down in a cornfield and nobody would know. Absolutely. Because I mean, some of that stuff
Children of the Corn. I know.
I never watched that movie, but I know there's some shit that could potentially go down a cornfield and nobody would ever know, if you know what I mean.
All right.
So
okay.
So moving on. So that was
corn.
so I detasseled corn.
All right.
Okay. So I did that 13, 14, 15. Okay. So
you were a veteran.
I was a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when I was 15, or that summer, I detasseled for a little bit, but then I got a phone call. I remember the night I got the call. To work at the video store.
Oh my god! How did this go? Did they call you up and say, "Look"?
So it was a Saturday. I remember it was a Saturday night.
God.
Like I remember kind of interviewing a little bit. Like she says, and I'm still pretty close to the lady that owned the video store.
Right.
She says my mom actually went and talked to her privately a couple times. My mom's never really said that she did, but my mom was like, listen, give this kid a chance. Like he needs a job. You need to give him a chance.
Like it's in the movies, like this would turn his life around.
Yeah. Like I was like, all right, whatever. But I remember we had just got our first computer.
What year did you get your first
This was
computer?
This was 95.
Oh, you were ahead. You were like the first adapters of Windows 95.
We still had Windows 3.1. We had a special, we had a coupon. We had a coupon to get the Windows 95 upgrade free when it came out.
Were you like, fuck that?
So I remember using Windows 3.1 and having DOS on there and all that for a couple of months, and then I got my Windows 95.
Just changed your world.
But I remember we had just got this computer and we were setting it up and just got it done. And a Saturday night, I got a phone call saying, "Hey, this is Nicole in the video store. Do you want a job?" I was like, "Well, yeah." She's like, "Well, I need you right now. Can you get in here right now? It's a Saturday night. It's a Saturday night.
To do? You don't know anything.
She's like, "Are you available to start now?" Like that's how bad I need
like,
somebody.
yes.
I'm like, hell yeah. So we
I
did.
would remember that
So we loaded up. Like I didn't have my license yet. Mom took me and dropped me off, and then came back later and picked me up. My first night, it was swamped. All I did, just to kind of get familiarized with the store, because so many people was dropping stuff off still.
In the heyday of...
She was just, this is back in, VHS. DVD wasn't even a thing yet.
Oh, video stores used to be the shit.
Yeah. And so all I did that first night, I just put movies away up on the shelf. That's all I did. And, we didn't have everything behind the counter. It was all out on the shelf. You had the cardboard box, had the styrofoam insert. It was all shrink wrapped. And then the plastic case with the movie in it back behind it.
Oh, so just like stacks of those. And if you knew you were out of luck if there was just
there was just the sleeve there, you had to, it was either gone or you had to go ask if you had it behind the counter.
Yeah.
So that was my first night. But that was my first real job. Was the real inside job and all that. I'm not like, I wouldn't say it was cushy, but I don't know. It was like the first real job I actually had to apply for.
Okay.
And get.
Okay.
Because the tasseling corn, it was more or less, your parents say you can do it, you're good.
Here.
Get up here.
Did you ever see anybody get fired from detasseling corn? Like, you just ain't cutting it. How would they know if you did a good job?
I don't know. There might have been somebody, like if they were, it would be more like you did something really stupid and dangerous that they would kick you out for something like that. Because otherwise they needed all the bodies they could get to do this. But anyway, I remember by 16, I was closing the store by myself on a Friday night.
By yourself?
By myself.
16?
By myself. 16.
I
10
don't
o'clock.
see that happening
Closing
nowadays.
Closing at 10 o'clock, locking up, driving home. As soon as I had my license, I was first night closing by myself. Major thunderstorm, power went out. I had to count down. We had one security light, like battery backup security light that came on. I'd lock the door and take my drawer over, and I'm sitting on the floor out in the main area
counting money
on the floor with a little
window.
No, there was like a little half wall that kind of made the kids section.
Oh.
And I was just on I was on the hidden side of that. So, yeah.
You're like, I got some sense. Come on.
Right. So, we tell all these stories because it kind of leads into this story. This just happened just last week. This story came up. This is on Huffington Post Weird News. Man arrested for not returning a VHS rental 14 years ago. There's no video stores left. And this dude's getting in trouble for not returning the videotape.
Have you seen Sons of Anarchy?
No.
The guy looks like...
Does he look... Yeah.
He looks like one of the guys in the biker gang. I can't remember. Oh, it's his friend that gets murdered in jail. I wouldn't go up to that guy and be like, "You're arrested, sir." No.
But what's funny is it was a Tom Green movie called Freddy Got Fingered. I never watched it. I was never a Tom Green fan. But I remember a kid that came in the store all the time. Loved that movie. It was like one of those kids that I actually kind of took under my wing and kind of like unofficial Big Brother.
There was that road trip.
That movie.
There was American Pie. There was Euro Trip. I'm thinking and then there was the 40
40-Year-Old Virgin?
No. Just
40.
I think it's during Lent. He tries to he tries to get laid. There are all these movies that center out a guy trying to get laid.
Is that what that movie's about? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
what
it
it's
sounds
about.
like. It sounds like that crop of 90s
I really
movies.
don't want to watch it. I have no clue. I figured it was just Tom Green doing his regular Tom Green shtick. I really don't know.
Oh,
I'm sure there was a plot to it.
I watched the one Tom Green, which is about. It's about something about college. Is that?
That's Road Trip.
Yeah, I watched
he's in it
that one.
He's like the homebody that doesn't go.
And he puts the hamster in his mouth.
Yes.
Or is it a mouse? I'm not sure.
It was a mouse.
He was the worst part of that whole fucking movie.
Yeah, I loved that movie, but yeah, I could have done without him in that movie.
I lumped that movie in with all the guy trying to get laid 90s movies too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there were on the other side of it there were the ones made for the girls for the 90s.
What were those?
Oh, She's All That.
See, I don't consider that. See,
they were kind of like the makeover movies, and they were along the lines of
I don't believe
Pretty in Pink, but they were out in the 90s.
Yeah,
and they were for the girls.
Yeah, see, I don't believe in chick flicks, but
they were because
I loved me some She's All That. Oh, I had such a thing for Rachel Lee Cook.
Oh, you did?
Oh my!
And you
God.
liked that movie?
Oh, I loved that movie. I mean, it's like Taming of the Shrew. I mean, it's based off of Taming of the Shrew, Shakespeare.
No, it's not. That's 10 Things I Hate About You is based off.
Oh, that's right. No, this was
10 Things I Hate About You is in that.
In Taming of the Shrew. That's more that
girl
one.
Movies.
That's Taming of the Shrew. This was My Fair Lady. My mistake.
Yes, you're right.
That was My Fair Lady.
You're right. Yeah.
Which is also a good movie, but yeah, I loved that movie. God, there was a lot of movies from that time frame that I just absolutely it takes me back, and I will, if it's on, I will sit and I will watch it not the whole movie, but I will sit and watch at least 15 minutes of it or something. I still own that movie on DVD.
What, She's All That?
Yes, I have it on DVD somewhere. I have a lot of movies. I've traded a lot of movies in, like a GameStop before. I still have tons of them left. I have binders full of DVDs.
Is that a byproduct of working at the video store?
I think so.
Okay.
Partly. I mean, I would go to stores and buy
them
stuff.
From, like, if they retired them, you know how they always.
Oh yeah, I would totally. I would totally stock up on stuff. I would hold stuff back and buy it later. There was some stuff that I never did go buy, and I know it pissed her off because it was sitting there, and other people were like, "I want that movie." I'm like, "Nope, sorry, I already got it on hold. Suck it." And then I never bought it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was kind of a dick that way. I didn't mean to be. I totally intended to buy it, and then just stuff happened, and I never did.
Okay,
but
so I want to know this before we go into the rest of the story.
Okay,
what kind of penalties were imposed if people didn't return movies at your particular?
Because I'm assuming
was it a chain store?
No, my chain store. It was like more of a family-run store. There was like 2 or 3 of them that existed, and they were initially all owned by the same family, and then eventually just kind of got sold off here and there.
So, what penalties were in place if you didn't return?
If you didn't return, it was basically the same as like another day's rental. We didn't go like crazy overboard, but if a movie cost like $3 like $2.99 to rent it, a new release for one day, you would return, and it was due back the next day. If you didn't return it by a certain point the next day so that I could get it out again that night, you got charged another $2.99. I basically just you rented it 2 days in a row. Now,
even if they didn't go back and return it the very next day either, if they had it out for a week, they still were only
it would be $2.99 for every day. So it was like 7 days late, $2.99.
To the value of the movie, or would they go beyond, which is
we probably at a certain point, I think we would cut it off and just say, okay, listen, you've pretty much paid for the movie.
So
just give us that.
That's what would happen if a movie never came back. You're like, we've charged you.
Yeah. If a movie never came back, we would turn it over to collections and let somebody else.
Oh, you would?
Oh, yeah, let somebody else. Because every day we would print off, you would have, old tractor feed printer and stuff. You'd print off the late list or the overdue list or whatever.
Really?
And you would go back through and you would look on the shelves to make sure that it didn't accidentally get brought
so
back
somebody's
and
really
stuck.
Checking.
Oh yeah, we were checking that shit. And it would be. Some days you would love it when it was only like 2 pages long. It would suck so bad if you get like a 10-page, and then we're talking 8.5 by 11 sheets of.
Oh my
now
god!
And it would. I mean, it was formatted a certain way, so there might only be like 10 per page or something like that. But yeah, you would have to sit and go and check, because the way we did it is, we had your hard case. Okay, we would actually go and cut the top out of the case, because we would put a barcode with a number and name and stuff on the top of the videotape. So that way, when we were checking people out, it'd all be closed up and you just scan the top. But it also helped whenever you were going back checking, you could just look, flip the box back and look. As long as you were tall enough, the top ones I would have to pull down and see. But you could just check the numbers, because, if a movie came out, we alphabetize stuff. So like an A, we'll say American Pie. So it'd be like A, 1, 2, 3. But if I had 20 copies of it, I'd have A, 1, 2, 3, A, 1, 2, 3, B, A, 1, 2, 3, C. So then I had to look for the last letter to make sure I had the right copy. So there's a lot to it. And then we had our receipts that we'd have to go through, and you would put them in numerical order every night, all the receipts that people would have to sign, because you're responsible for the stuff. So you'd sign it and you'd stick them on the pile. Well, then by the end of the night, you would go back, and before you close, you had to have them all in number order. You'd rubber band them together and throw them down the stack for that month.
Because that's those days.
Yeah. And then as people are bringing stuff back, you go back through and you see what's on the list. You go back through and find that one. You can pull the receipt. So that way, when somebody says, "Oh, I didn't rent that movie," you can say, "Bullshit, motherfucker. Here's your signature."
Oh. Okay.
So there's
so
science to
that's
all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how to run a video store.
I liked that.
Okay.
I had no idea. And it's useless information.
It's useless information. You know what? We're not only making dick and fart jokes. We are teaching people business strategy and
business
tactics.
strategies from like 1993.
Exactly. But then Netflix happened, and I remember.
Were you in there during that whole like stuff starting?
Started to get out, because I remember Redbox had just started to be talked about. It wasn't out yet. I remember, because I was always
that like a big gloom and doom threat. You would talk
that one,
about
not specifically. I even told her, I was like, "Listen, you might want to jump in if you want to keep doing video stuff. You might want to jump in on this thing."
Right.
Like the actual boxes, because we could put one out front when we're closed. People could still do stuff. Didn't really mess with it. I remember switching to DVD was a big thing. I told her early on, I was like, "You need to jump on this now.
Oh, because
this is coming."
She was responsible for buying.
She was she was the owner. She owned the store. Well, she leased the building, but everything in there she owned. It was her stuff. Okay, but she looked to me, because I've always been that guy that's always right there on the forefront.
Yeah.
I'm the tech guy. So as soon as DVD came out, was talked about, it's like, "You're going to have to jump on this." I was like, "It's going to be so much better, easier for us to keep track of," stuff like that. The only thing that sucked was scratches. But that was the side of that. VHS tapes, you had to worry about getting the tapes ate up. I learned to splice videotapes.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a little small science to splicing.
Would you guys have to be in charge of rewinding them if they came back?
Yeah.
Would you check that?
Oh yeah, because we had to have a rewinder there. We'd charge you 50 cents for
rewinding.
Oh yeah, it took time. I mean, you'd sit there. I mean, people, and there were some people just like, "Screw it, I ain't messing with it. Sure, I'll pay it." So whenever you would scan the movies in, you'd go back down the list and rewound or not.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And it was, there was a lot of them we let slip. You would get your favorite customers.
Oh, and they'd be like, "Oh, look at this."
Yeah, sorry. It's it was more or less we would let you slide a couple times, but then those habitual people, you were getting it. But then, even with late fees and stuff, we would try to win people back, because there was people that they would drop something off and run, and they knew it was late, and they'd have a stack of
you do amnesty days.
We would not totally amnesty, but we would, up to a certain point, we would say, "Okay, if your bill is above this, if you'll come back, if you'll pay half of that."
Oh, so you were running a collections yourself, yeah?
Yeah, it's if you'll pay half of that, we will go ahead and rent to you and waive the rest of it just to get you back in.
Oh, okay.
So there was stuff like that would happen. But
do you know there's still a video rental store in my hometown that's up and running?
Is there really?
Family Video.
Oh, Family Video store. They're privately owned. So yeah, there's a few down here.
There are?
Yes, there are.
What are they still doing?
I actually
is it because of the porn? They have porn.
Maybe not necessarily just for that, but
That would be a reason to their continued success.
I don't
How
know.
do they stay open?
It's just there's some people that just genuinely like that interaction.
Oh, my sister says she'll go in there from the nostalgia. She's like, I rented from that the other day. I was like,
Yeah, it's just there's something to be said about, because I kind of became like the personal shopper for certain people. Like I would
for
know
movies, yeah.
I would know what such and such person would like or not like, because I had to. I mean, I wouldn't watch
So
everything.
you would think of recommendations for them?
Oh yeah, like they'd come in. I would save so many people so much time by coming in. What's new that I would like? Oh, you would like this or this. You would like this or that.
How would you know that? You watched all these movies?
I didn't watch all of them. I watched a lot, but I didn't watch all of them, because there were some movies that like I could look at it and read the back and like, there's no way I'm gonna like this movie, so I'm not gonna waste my time with it. But there was one lady that she had some kind of a phobia about knives. She could not watch movies that had anything with anybody getting cut, holding a knife, stuff like that, anything dangerous with a knife. So she had to run, before she would watch a movie, she had to run it by me, and I had to sit and think. It's like, if I've watched this, I was like, can I think of any scene where somebody pulled a knife out to like stab or slice at somebody or whatever?
Oh my God.
It was just like, that's the type of stuff that I did. Yeah, like dead serious.
Great.
It was just, God, it was like, I could almost make a whole show just talking about stuff like that. One story I will tell. I feel like I've totally dominated this.
That's fine. I'll dominate it another day. I feel like
I will tell this. Maybe this will lead you into another story. The one story I will tell, and eventually I do want to have an episode where we just do nothing, but we might actually have to split across 2 or 3 talking about just the different retail jobs we had. But this is like the most face-to-face, I think, because I worked at this place off and on for like 10 years.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I've ever stayed at a job that long.
Now, after I graduated high school, I was even had like a second job. So this was like my first job, and this was like, I always had a second job.
Oh, I always.
And then I got to the point where I like, my other job was like the better paying job.
I went to school and held
This
down
is my second.
3 different jobs at the same time. Never again.
So this is a long story. I will preface this ahead of time. What the story I'm about to tell does take a little bit to set up. Okay. The freakiest thing that ever happened to me at the video store. Okay. I will say this. I'm glad that it happened to me rather than happen to one of the girls that worked there. Because at the time that this happened, there was a long time. There was a long stretch of period that happened for whatever reason. I was the only guy that worked at that video store.
Okay.
Sometime after this, finally, we got other guys working in there too. This story has nothing to do with why we got other guys working there, but just the way it happened. My senior year of high school, I'm working at the video store. It's a Sunday morning. The strip, it was just like a small strip of stores. We had the video store at one end. Right next to us was a Domino's. On the other side of that, there was a laundromat. And then at the time, there was a CVS that was down at the end of the
Okay, so you were like typical small town America.
Yeah, we were like we have Camp Atterbury that's real close, so we were like the entertainment hub.
Did you eat a lot of pizza?
Oh, we got good deals.
Okay.
We got really good deals on the pizza because we would take care of those guys movie wise. They took care of us food wise.
Good.
Okay. Sunday morning, I'm used to people coming in and hanging out.
Yeah.
At the video store, it's people go to the laundromat. Like I'd have all the time military guys come in from Camp Atterbury. They're doing their laundry at the laundromat. They got to wait a while. They'll come down. They'll hang out at the video store. Maybe they'll get something. Maybe they won't. Whatever. Used to it. Kids would do it too. Just hang out and then leave. Get an old man come in. When I say old man, like this guy could be my grandpa. Old man. And he wanders around the store a little bit. I do the normal, is there anything I can help you find? No, I'm just kind of looking. I'm waiting for my wife down at the store. She's working down there today, but just partial shift or whatever. I didn't know anybody that worked down at that store, so I was like, okay, whatever. He's like, I'm just waiting for her. We got to go to the doctor later, so I'm just kind of waiting for time to take her up there. Do you mind if I hang on here for a little bit? Okay, it's fine, whatever. Didn't really put, in hindsight, I didn't really put it together. Like, what doctor's office is open on a Sunday?
Right.
Just one of those things I thought of later. Anyway, so he's walking around for a little bit. Finally, and I'm like up front. I'm going through like some of these receipts, looking for late movies and stuff like I've mentioned earlier, doing my thing. And I will say this, and this is kind of visual, so I apologize, people listening to this. I'll try to describe it the best I can. The way that our counter was set up was L-shaped. Okay, so you had your front door where you're at, essentially. Okay, there would be a counter would come from the door all the way up to about here, and then would run down a little ways, and then you came in down at the other end. To anybody listening, I'm if I'm behind the counter, facing kind of outward, facing to where the customer would normally stand.
So you can have one point of exit, like once they check out, they're ushered out the door.
Yeah, there was just one door to this place, in and out,
okay,
same door. Oh. Okay, so if I'm standing at my computer terminal and actually helping a customer, and they're in front of me, the enter-exit door is to my right, and then we had two terminals, one on the right and one on the left, all the way down at the end. You get in and out down on the left end. Anyway, this old man's walking around, and finally, he's been there for a little bit, but I'm like doing my thing. I don't realize how much time has passed. And he finally says, like, it's getting to be a little bit, my legs are getting kind of tired. Do you mind if I sit down? Me being the nice guy, I'm like, I don't care, whatever. I'm doing my thing. So I let him sit down on one of our stools, because we had a couple stools that you could sit up on and do stuff. So I let him sit on the stool, and he just sits down at the end of the counter. And he's just, being real super nice, chit-chatting, stuff like that. It was around the time I know I talked about the prom, that I went to the other girls' prom and all that stuff. So it was around the time of that, even. Mm-hmm. So he was like, somehow or another, we got on the topic of that. And he was asking about, taking the girl to prom, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm sitting at the counter, I'm talking and doing my thing. And I notice something out of the corner of my eye.
Oh, no.
You know where this is going, don't you?
Is he wanking it?
He is. And I didn't even realize that the old man had sweatpants on when he came in or anything. So it was like easy access.
I will always notice if you're wearing sweatpants. That's where my eyes will go first. Because I'm a big believer of no pajamas in public.
Right.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't even like the activewear that women are wearing around just to, like, get coffee and go to TJ Maxx. Like, what are you doing? No,
right.
Not at the gym.
Right.
So, all right. I would notice that.
So, yeah, totally. I mean, of course, I'm 17. I'm not thinking. I'm just there to do my job, get my paycheck, whatever. And I'm supposed to be going to my grandma's house. My grandma didn't live too far from there. She was doing their normal Sunday dinner. So I was supposed to get off of work and go over there. Okay. Aww. So here's what's weird. While this old man is there, before this has happened, I remember one of my cousins stopped by for just a second. Like, I think she had rented a movie and dropped something off, and then was heading on over there. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll see you after a while or whatever. So then it was like shortly after that, this happens. So of course I'm in total shock. I don't know what to do. I'm just like, dude, you need to get the hell out right now. Like, you're done. Go. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, you're not. You need to leave.
Right.
Okay. So he goes around, he exits the building, and he goes and stands beside his truck. Now, where he's parked in relation to where the front door is, he's over a little ways. Like, if you were to walk out the front door to the building, he was parked a little, like, you would step to the right a little bit.
Okay.
So the front of his truck is more right behind where I'm standing, and I can see him on the other side of his truck, standing by the driver's side door. But I can only see him from, like, chest height up. And he's still standing there for a long time. I'm like, what the hell is this dude's problem? And I noticed his shoulder. I was like, God, dude, seriously. And I'm getting pissed, and I can't think clearly. So,
you would
dude,
call the cops.
I'm not thinking straight yet. What? Like, my brain hasn't got there yet.
Oh man.
I'm so pissed off. Like, I turn around and I'm punching holes through the keyboard. I'm just so pissed when I'm hitting stuff. So I sit there for a minute. Son of a bitch has the nerve to come back in the store. Oh. I've locked my keys in my truck. Do you happen to have, like, a hanger or something back in your office? No, I don't.
No.
You need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
So he stands there. Finally, in this, you got a
Offer to
question.
call the cops for him.
So in this moment of clarity, I finally think I need to call the owner. She'll know what to do.
No.
So she's on speed dial. So I pick it up. I pick up the phone, and I was like, "Okay, this is going on. Like, I'm kind of flipping out here." She's like, "Don't worry about it. I got you covered. I'll call the cops." I was like, "All right."
She calls the police.
She calls the police. He sees me on the phone. Magically, his truck is unlocked, and he hops in and drives away. And then, like 15, 20 minutes later, then the cops finally show up. And what do you look like? Oh, he's an old man. You know, here's what I remember what his truck looked like, kind of. And
Did you see plates at all?
I know he didn't have, because
Oh,
all the plates were in the back down here. So nothing in the front. I remembered it was like, it threw me off because it said Eddie Bauer on the truck. It was like, if I was a Ford truck or something, but they actually did like an Eddie Bauer series or something inside. It's like, I remembered that much of it. But they said, yeah, you know, we don't know if it's the same guy, but like there's been some guy that had gone around to like 2 or 3 places. Like there was a gas station up the road that he had done the same thing to. And yeah. So that's my creepy old man Winker story, I guess.
Oh.
So there was another one that happened after I wasn't really working there much anymore. The girl that was the manager at the time was closing at night. It would go back and open up the adult room door, because you would always open up that door at night. One, to make sure there's nobody back there. Two, you'd keep a light on in there and keep the door open.
Oh,
just
so you did
for
the porn
closing
room
night.
too.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was a closet. I mean, it was smaller than this room that
Right.
we're in. And but she went back there one night, and there was just some dude looked like he was coked out of his head. Like, she opens the door and like kind of squealed because she wasn't expecting anybody there, and he just kind of pulls his pants up, and like she said, it like he looked through her, like he was just so out of it. He just looked through her and just walked past her and was out. Like, wasn't doing anything, just
wasn't doing anything with his pants down.
Just
He hadn't like pissed anywhere.
Not that we could tell, but it was just like, oh my God, it was weird. Weird town. Had to throw some teenage kids out of that room once before too. Like literally grab them by the back of the neck and pull them out. Those were some bratty kids. But
and of course,
anyway,
that's where they want to go.
Oh, totally.
I remember when I was old enough to go back in one of the going back there and still feeling like, oh.
It's like you get desensitized to it.
Wait, you're closing the store at 16
Yeah.
alone, so you're like,
I wasn't allowed to go back there till I was 18.
oh gosh.
Whatever. You still could open the door.
How would you check for the cokeheads?
Oh,
there?
I would. Do what now?
How would you check for the cokeheads hiding in the?
Oh, I would. No, you just go when you open the door. I mean, you just
Oh.
open the door and it's just a small.
So
little
let me ask you
room.
this: when you were talking about late fees and returning and
Okay.
50 cents to rewind, are you handling the porns then as well?
As they're coming in, yeah, I would check them out.
so
check 'em in,
as,
check 'em out.
As a 16-year-old, you can't go back and put them back.
I would have to put them in a little cubby and wait for somebody else to do it. Once I turned 18, then I was allowed to go back there.
Okay.
That's how that
Understood.
worked. On paper, that's how that worked.
All right.
So yeah. Wow, I didn't think I would talk this much about the video store. Because, God, I have so many more stories that could go on.
Video stores are a dying
And-
art. Let me tell you, it was all glamorized by the Clerks movie too.
That was my movie.
So
That was my movie.
people want to know about this. You're like the real life Clerks, and we have to. I just want to know how it worked.
Yeah, that's
You don't see them aside from
pretty
the
much the
family
gist
videos.
of it. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, like, my owner, the owner of my video store that I worked at, she spoke at my wedding.
She did.
I am the executor of her will.
What?
That's, yeah, she didn't have any kids of her own. Like, she got married. He had a kid. She had a nephew
Mm-hmm.
that she was close with.
Oh, you're above the nephew for
So,
executor of the will.
Yeah, because right now, anyway, now that could change in the future.
Oh.
Because, like, the ages that they are right now, she's like, I don't know that I would necessarily turn them loose and trust them to divide everything up. So I would be on there as to basically make sure that
Okay.
everything happens the way that it's supposed to happen. So,
Okay.
because I'm the responsible one.
Nobody would ever trust me with that kind of crap.
So, but yeah, so I was like, I remember I haven't seen her in a while. I need to get back a hold of her because, like, we would occasionally, like, maybe a couple times a year here while back would get together for lunch to just kind of catch up.
And
And it was just like one of those
she
days.
She doesn't own the place anymore.
Oh
right?
no,
It went
she's
under,
no,
like...
yeah, it's gone. She moved on.
Okay.
She like works for the blood center now.
Okay.
And does stuff with that.
All right.
So, yeah. Do you got any fun stories to tell before we go? I know you had like a bunch of retail stuff, but I kind of almost feel like we should. I would let you dominate another episode for that.
And my retail comes from working at a clothing store and working at a home furnishing store.
Okay.
That's it. Those are the only two I held.
We could do another episode for that.
We could. I have some weird stories.
Okay. Maybe the next one. So, I think we're done for now. I'm kind of...
We never found out what happened to the dude.
Oh, yeah.
We need to finish with that at least.
Yeah. God, we went way off on that.
Oh, there's a scene from Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah, he's holding a fish in some fancy restaurant. That's weird. But basically, so yeah, this dude, 14 years ago, he rented Freddy Got Fingered and then never returned it. And I don't know if it was specifically from Blockbuster or some other place. I can't remember if it actually said... I'd love to know
where it was from, who's pressing these charges.
Yeah, but something there ended up being a warrant out for him from forever ago. It was ended up being considered a class 3 misdemeanor, which was punishable with a fine of up to $200. So he has a court appearance scheduled for April 27th. Yeah. So word of this got to Tom Green.
Oh, really?
Because it was his movie that the dude was late on, and he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." He's like, "But it's total bullcrap that he's even have to deal with it." So Tom Green basically volunteered, and I think already did pay his $200 fine for him.
So if he paid his fine, isn't it closed up? He doesn't need a court date?
I don't know.
What's he got to do? Close up the warrant?
I guess.
Is he out on bail? You have a $14 bail.
Yeah, but he's telling the news story, or the TV station, for the first time I got put in handcuffs.
Oh.
Concord Police Sergeant Jonathan Hathcock confirmed Meyer's arrest to the Huffington Post Thursday, saying, "It doesn't matter what kind of warrant it is. If it's a warrant, we're going to serve it."
I wonder what kind of, because don't judges have to grant warrants?
Yeah, I think
what judge fucking signed off on that?
I don't know.
This is North Carolina, correct? I just want to. It's got to be the South. I know it's some.
I thought we said it was earlier. Yes, North Carolina. Concord, North Carolina. That's just so funny, though. At a certain point, I would think you would think that there would be a statute of limitations on that.
No kidding. I didn't even think of that.
Apparently
do warrants
not.
Ever expire? I don't know these things.
I don't know.
These are things I should know.
If anybody out there knows, let us know. If this is on the YouTube, let us know in the comments if a warrant, if you're listening if a warrant expires or not. Probably, maybe not. I don't know.
If it's a warrant, maybe it's always just out for you.
Could be. That may be. Yeah.
If he didn't get caught and issued a warrant on this, would there be a statute of limitations on theft? Say that just.
I don't know. That's weird.
What kind of laws is Concord operating under?
I don't know.
I want to know. This is the first time he was arrested.
So here's what it was. Here's how he got caught. He said he got pulled over. He was taking his daughter to school and got pulled over because he had a broken tail light, and then that's what got the ball.
Anytime you get pulled over, you're getting looked up to see if you have warrants.
Yeah. So that's how he got caught. By the way, so.
I would love to know which video rental place it was, because guaranteed it's not open for him to return it to.
And what's funny, though...
This is the one family video in town, we prosecute.
What's really funny, though, looking back, I just thought of this. We were really close to the cops in town. So,
Would you do something like
they
this,
would
though?
come... No, we wouldn't do anything like that. But, sometimes, we would say, hey, have you heard from such and such person lately? They haven't returned a movie back or something like that.
It was a very small
It wasn't
town.
it was a small town. But what was more so than that, the cops would come to us for more updated contact information. If they're looking for somebody and they've moved and they have old contact, do you know where they're at now?
And you would look it up and give that to them?
Yeah, they would say they'd basically come in can you help us out?
What's the last movie he rented? What is
nothing like that, but this is more or less hey, we're looking for this guy. Do you know their current address?
Wow.
So yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm glad you let this out. I'm glad to know this stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. Anyway, I think we're gonna call this episode done. I've been going on for like an hour or so, so we'll let it go. I still don't have a fancy "see you later" type of catchphrase, but
nothing. No,
you know, we'll talk shit, and I can't come up with any good shit to talk. Whatever. Anyway, hope people are watching this. Hope they're liking it. If you're seeing it on YouTube, give us some comments down below. We would appreciate any kind of feedback, hopefully positive. Anyway, if you're listening to us on the podcast, check out our pre-recorded outros that I have yet to actually officially make. We'll get around to it. Good night, everybody.
Good night. We were disciplined.